The day my mother passed away, it felt as though the sky around me had been completely drained. That night, I couldn't close my eyes, even as I lay listless on the living room sofa. A soft glow from the bedside lamp gently illuminated her portrait, placed with reverence on the wooden shelf. Beside the frame lay a white scarf and a handful of golden chrysanthemums, her favorite flowers. I sat motionless, tracing the kind wrinkles on her face, and asked myself, if life is only a fleeting moment, have I truly lived it to the fullest by her side? The ticking clock sounded softly in the silent room. I flipped through old photographs. Mother smiling over a family dinner, guiding me to my first day of school, carefully knitting my scarf when winter arrived. Each memory was a puzzle piece now tinged with pain and regret. I could feel every breath I tried to hold back, each heartbeat compressing all my sorrow into my chest. Sitting there, it suddenly dawned on me how many simple moments I had missed. The warmth of sharing dinner, those afternoons watering flowers together in the garden, even the classical music she loved to play each morning. Mother had spent her life caring for our family and nurturing love, while I chased work, money, and hollow successes. Now, left only with memories and that silent portrait, I wondered, could I start over? Could I finally cherish every passing second so that I would never regret what I've lost? I still remember that fateful afternoon with startling clarity. The hospital was crowded, yet strangely silent. My mother lay there amid the hum of machines and the sharp scent of antiseptic. She could no longer speak, but her gentle eyes looked at me as if urging me to heed some unspoken message. Though her breath was so fragile, it seemed a light breeze could carry it away. I grasped her hand as tightly as I could. Her skin was thin and cold. In that moment, time seemed to stop. I wanted to hold on, to say so much, to apologize for all the years I'd been too busy to call regularly, too wrapped up in work to come home for holidays, too distracted to notice the small signs that she was fading away day by day. Then everything went dark. The heart monitor let out one long, unwavering tone. Nurses rushed in, but I already knew she was gone. I sat in that hospital room for hours, enveloped by stillness. There was no more warmth in her voice, no more comforting gaze, no more familiar questions, only an immense void in my heart, one that no words of consolation could ever fill. The days that followed blurred into a fragmented series of memories. The funeral, the incense smoke, loved one was arriving and departing. I felt like an observer in my own life. At night, I would clutch her framed photo, pore over old text messages, and listen to the brief voice recordings she had sent. This loss taught me one thing. We always assume we have time to love, to care, to speak kind words. But the truth is, none of us knows who will still be here tomorrow. And sometimes all we have left are memories, intangible, yet capable of cutting the deepest wounds. In the days after the funeral, I lived like a shadow. I still went to work, still ate my meals, still greeted everyone, but inside I felt hollow. Each night I sat alone, staring at the room where my mother used to call me to bundle up or ask if I'd eaten. My phone lay silent, no notifications, no familiar voice lighting up the speakers. One evening, I reopened my mother's last text. She had written, "Call me when you're free. I miss you." I read that line over and over until I wept like a child. I'd seen that message days before she passed, but at the time I was too busy. An important meeting, looming deadlines, unanswered emails. Those excuses delayed a simple call, and now I'd lost the chance forever. That moment became my turning point. I realized I'd not only lost my mother, but countless moments that could have become memories. And the cruelest loss wasn't her absence, it was my failure to be truly present while she was still here. I knew I had to change. I began crossing out unnecessary appointments. I silenced social media at night. I made time to eat dinner without my phone in hand. I started calling my father more often, visiting home on weekends, and when I spoke with someone, I genuinely listened. From now on, I refused to trade the people I love for the excuse of being busy. I can't go back and rewrite the past, but I can choose to live differently from this moment forward. Since the day my mother passed, I've no longer wanted to live the way I used to. That always busy, always rushed, always an excuse to delay emotions lifestyle once made me feel strong and successful. But It turned out to be what caused me to miss so much. Now, I don't need that kind of life. I need something else. True presence. I started with very small changes. I reset my alarm 30 minutes later so mornings wouldn't feel like a sprint. I dropped the habit of scrolling through social media at breakfast and instead opened the window, gazed into the garden, and brewed a hot cup of tea. One day, I rediscovered my mother's old teapot set and decided to keep it out, a daily ritual that extends her memory. I enrolled in a flower arranging class, not to become an expert, but because my mother loved arranging blooms on the weekends. I realized that those little touches she left in everyday life, the scent of jasmine flowers, a simple home-cooked meal, the soft light of an autumn afternoon, carry a miraculous healing power. I also learned to pause the multitasking lifestyle. When I walk, I leave my phone at home. When I talk to my father, I don't check the time. At dinner, I play the classical music my mother always enjoyed, and just eat, nothing else. As each day passes, I no longer wish for it to be productive, but for it to be fulfilling. Fulfilling enough that I feel truly alive, enough that I have no regrets. I haven't entirely overcome my grief. There are still days when I miss my mother so intensely it hurts, but now I know how to live with that longing, with gentleness and kindness. Every choice I make, every moment I pause to breathe, is my way of keeping her alive in my life in a new form. Peaceful, simple, and whole. My life now is no longer fast-paced or highly productive like before, but it is more genuine, deeper, and more complete. I no longer measure success by the number of hours I work or how many emails I answer before 9 a.m. Instead, I measure it by the moments in which I am truly present. Sitting down to dinner with my father, reading a page of a book and savoring every word, or breathing in the scent of the chrysanthemums my mother loved as I walk through the park each afternoon. I've learned that loss is not just an ending, it can also be a beginning. My mother's passing left me with a map back to those simple but precious things: family bonds, presence, and gratitude for every single moment of life. Now I choose to live slowly. I no longer feel compelled to record everything to post online or keep as a memento. I let moments unfold in silence yet fully. I notice more clearly the things that once blurred into the background: a genuine smile, a beautiful shaft of sunlight, or simply the peaceful feeling of steeping a hot cup of tea. I'm not saying the pain is gone or that I have found all the answers. There are still days when I miss my mother so fiercely it chokes me. But rather than fleeing from that sorrow, I sit with it like an old friend. And in doing so, I have grown, not in the sense of becoming stronger, as people often say, but in becoming softer, truer, and more fully human. If there is one thing I have learned on this journey, it is that slowing down is not a sign of weakness, but a choice to love deeply enough and to never miss what truly matters. Those things we sometimes recognize only once they are gone. You don't need to endure a great loss to recognize the value of life's simple moments. But if you've ever felt an emptiness inside, no matter how busy life gets, maybe it's time to pause and ask yourself, who am I living for? Why am I doing this? And what really matters? Take a little time each day to listen to your heart. A brief phone call to a loved one, a shared family meal, or simply a warm embrace when someone needs it. These aren't wasted moments, but the threads that bind us to what truly matters. Too often we chase distant dreams of success and forget that love and presence are the most lasting foundations. If you're reading this, you still have the chance to make a change. Share with me. Where will you start? An evening without notifications? A reunion with an old friend? Or just those 3 words, I love you, that you've been holding back? Write it down, do it, and tell us how it felt in the comments. We are not alone on this journey to rediscover life's meaning. Every story shared is a candle of hope and inspiration. Together we can choose to live more slowly, more genuinely, and more fully, because the most precious things in life aren't what we own, but what we carry in our hearts.